Hi, so in this video I want to give you an update and a review of the Octopus Go tariff. Now I've had it for a while now, so I can tell you exactly what it's like. I want to show you a breakdown of the costs. That's really important, I think, because I'm going to just go about my daily driving, and at the end of each day I'm going to show you exactly how much it costs to recharge the car, so you'll be able to see how much I'm paying for the miles I used. I hope that makes sense. So I'm saving over £200 a month switching from dyno juice diesel in the X5 to electrons in the Tesla, and I'm over the moon. Also with Octopus, I've found the customer service to be absolutely excellent. Now, in my day job, I'm a HMO landlord, so that means I rent properties out and I pay for the utilities. So I've switched all of my accounts away from my current supplier, which was Empower and a few other suppliers, over to Octopus. It saved me some money, but just as important, as you can imagine, it's quite difficult managing 20 utility accounts. It's actually 40 if you've got gas and electricity. The customer service has been amazing, but that's probably not relevant to you. You're probably only going to have one account with them if you're happy with them. So I'll show you the miles I do and also the cost to recharge my car overnight on their tariff, and yeah, hopefully it's helpful. Now, if you're interested in switching to the Octopus Go tariff, I will link you to that at the end of this video. If you can't wait until then, I will link you to my video now about here, and at the end of that video, this isn't complicated, is it? I will link you back here to me. Now, this is good unless you haven't got a short-term memory, because if that's the case, you're going to spend the rest of your life looking at me. Right, let's get cracking. So, day one, if we look at the figure here, which is since last charged, now that's where we're going to be. So I've reset that to 0. Well, it automatically resets to 0, which actually helps me out. So that's set to 0. I'm going to go about my day. I won't bore you with my day, because basically I'm just off to the gym and then I've got parents' evening. No one wants to see that. So, see you this evening. Well, that's my driving done for today. I've done 33 miles, well, 32.9, let's call it 33 for easy maths. But weirdly, I've actually used 25% of my battery. So that gives me a range at the moment of about 132 miles, if you think about the driving I've done. So that's well down on the official Tesla. Well, I think it was 304 miles when I bought this car, but it is freezing cold, and I've had the heating on, and I've done lots of non-EV friendly driving, so it has been heavy on the battery, but it does give me a bit of an indication of what winter driving is like in an EV. You do lose range, unfortunately. So I'm going to plug the car in, and as you can see, I've set the car to charge between 12:30 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. because that's the time that we get the super cheap 5p per kilowatt charging. Bargain. Right, so here's my usage. I'm on the Octopus Energy website, which is really good because you get to see exactly how much energy you're using at certain times of the day. So all these bars are half-hour increments, and you can see like when nothing's really going on, there's not much consumption. A bit more in the evening with the oven and dishwashers, etc., being on, more lights, I guess. And then these big bars here are my car charging. So I'm going to give you a rough idea of the cost of how much it is to charge a car for the journey I've done today. So if I look at midnight, in that half an hour, I used about 200 watts. So that kind of gives me an indication that my underlying usage, or the underlying usage for our house, is about 400 to 500 watts an hour, which is kind of perhaps a little bit higher than I'd like it to be, but not much higher. And here's where my charger kicks in. Now that's pulling an additional 3.5 kilowatts, maybe sort of 3.6. I'm going to use 3.5 for easy maths. And you'll see that it's my 7 kilowatt car charger is only pulling 3.5 kilowatts. That's because it's 7 kilowatts an hour, and these are half-hour increments. So if I get my trusty calculator out, I've got a lot of 3.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it charged for 7 30-minute slots and a bit in that one. So if I do 3.5 times 7, so that means we've used about 24.5 kilowatts charging, and a bit after 4 o'clock. I'm going to just put all that in. I'll just put plus 1.5. So that means it's drawn, the charger to charge the car back for the miles I used is about 26 kilowatts of power. Now that is really high, and it's worth mentioning that these are winter EV kind of charging rates. It will be cheaper in the summer because you'll use less energy to drive the distance. And I've kind of thought about it a bit, and what I did do, which I forgot to mention, was while I was out of the car I left the heating on, which did drain the battery considerably. But anyway, so that's work out. So we've got 26 kilowatts used, and they're charging me 0.05 per kilowatt. So that means it's cost £1.30 to travel that sort of 30 miles or so. In my old car, the X5, now that was 30 miles to the gallon car, that would have cost me £5.85. So that is a massive saving on an ICE vehicle. In the summer, I think I would have probably only needed about, well, I know this because I've measured it in the summer, but I would have only needed about 16 kilowatts. So let's clear that. And if we do 16 times 0.05, I mean, that same journey in the summer, I mean, we're talking t-shirt weather, could have perhaps been about 80p. So it's interesting that it does cost more to run an EV in the winter. So it's day 2. Thinking about yesterday, actually, I've worked out that if we apply the £5.85 a gallon rule to electricity, then off the top of my head, that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of about 146 miles to the gallon. So still excellent, even if it is a little bit poor. I'm sorry to keep going on about that. I think in the summer, I've worked it out to be sort of well over 200 miles to the gallon. So I've just got back from meeting my friends Jim and Dave for lunch. Steve, Jim and Dave. If that's not the band members of a terrible cover band, I don't know what is. All 3 plumbers. But today I've done 33.9 miles, a little bit further today. However, I've used less energy just because I've not had the heating on so much. The weather's a bit better. So let's have a look at the figures and see how they compare to yesterday. Now, before I do that, it's probably a good time to mention, if you do decide to go with the Octopus Go tariff, I'll put my link and instructions on how to do it in the description. I'll also put my referral code across the screen at certain points. We'll both get £50. So you'll get £50 off your bill, I'll get £50 off my bill. I'm very happy to give my £50 to charity. I don't run this channel really to make lots of money. Yeah, if you want me to give my £50 to charity, just let me know. Oh, one thing I'd like to mention, as always, if you're enjoying this video, please press the thumbs up, the like button right now. It really helps me out. It really helps my videos get out there. I really do appreciate it. And if you like the videos and you're not subscribed, about 80% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed to my channel, please just hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon as well, and then you'll be notified each time I release a new video. So let's have a look at day 2 then. So here's day 2. Now interestingly, on day 1 I did 32.9 miles. And on day 3 I did 33.3 miles, so essentially 33 miles on both days. But if you look at my usage the day before, I've used a lot more electricity to charge the car for the same distance. So the weather was better, which I think was an important factor. And also yesterday I defrosted the car from its own battery. So I think there's a few things going on because my journeys were quite similar, but it was just a better ambient temperature and environment to drive really for the battery. So let's have a look. So we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots of 3.5 kilowatts used, and then this one here I used 1.7. So let's bring the calculator up. So we've got 3.5 times 5, I'll just plus that 1.7, I'll put it all on. So that means we only use 19.2 instead of 26, I think it was yesterday, to bring the car back up to recovering the miles it had used. So let's work out the cost here then. So if we do 19.2 times 0.05, that's much better. So instead of spending £1.30, adding those 30 miles back on, it only costs 96p. So let's look at the MPG equivalent. So if we do £5.85 for a gallon of diesel currently, divide that by 0.96, gives us a figure of 6, times that by the miles that I did, which was 33. So we're back over the equivalent of 200 MPGs. I hope that makes sense. So just to digest that and explain that again, £5.85 worth of dyno juice would take me 30 miles in my old car, and £5.85 worth of Octopus Go tariff electricity, the same £5.85, would take me just over 200 miles. So that's amazing. I mean, that is just a no-brainer. And it's also been a learning experience for me, because I didn't realise how much energy I was actually using when I was kind of not really thinking about preheating the car, and the short journeys that I was doing, and sitting having a coffee and turning the heating on in the car 20 minutes before I actually got back into it. Not the most efficient way to kind of run it really. But even so, I mean, life's not all about penny pinching, is it, I guess? Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to do a range test in the winter. So I've done a summer range test, and we got 230 miles to a full battery. I'm going to do a range test for winter driving in the next few weeks, and we'll see what the difference is. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and look out for that video. In the meantime, I'll put the video I talked about earlier just here, and I'll put some others around that I think you'll enjoy, and see you next time.